Hey, this is Natasha, your friendly farmer, and we are on week 10 of the CSA. Can you believe it? Oh my goodness. Well, lots of good flavors, and as I'm telling you about the box, I also want to share that this week we gave ourselves the challenge to not go grocery shopping at all, just to use what we had on hand. Now, I did break it once to buy 2 ingredients that I needed, but it was really a delicious week. I can't believe we made every meal from scratch, from everything that the garden produces, but it was a really creative week. So just some examples: I made a homemade Alfredo sauce with chicken and grilled zucchini and onions and broccoli. So it was a chicken Alfredo pasta with all the vegetables. I made a kind of Asian meal that was a yellow curry, and then a kind of tom yum soup, a Thai soup that has a bit of a tangy flavor with the savory. I also did, let's see, I knew I was going to draw a blank at all the different meals. I'm going to think about it more as I'm talking, but all the meals this week that I did were all homemade and made from all the garden ingredients. So I feel pretty excited that we were able to accomplish that. So this week we've got lots of yummy stuff coming in. We've got beans, of course. We're very excited. These are yellow beans or wax beans. Occasionally you'll find a purple one that snuck its way in there. Purple beans are magic beans. They actually will turn green when they're cooked, so they're a good indicator that your beans are ready. So I always like to just boil them for a couple minutes, just till they're fork tender. I don't like things to get mushy at all with my vegetables. So delicious beans this week. We have, of course, a load of cucumbers. This is cucumber week. There's fashion week, there's all kinds of different weeks. This is cucumber week. So our wonderful crunchy soy long cucumbers, which hopefully you've been making lots of pickles and things like that out of. This week we just made a whole bunch of bread and butter pickles. I just am trying some fermented dill pickles. We'll see how those go. And then we also made refrigerator pickles from the recipe that we included a few weeks ago. Regular pickles, well, cucumbers, I should say, they're not pickles yet. And then we have some pickling cucumbers. So these are a new variety that just started coming on. It's very challenging because we have to pick them to keep them really small, so you gotta pick them like every day or even twice a day, but they are a little denser, crunchier pickle and cucumber, and you can definitely make your own little dill pickles out of these. Aren't they so cute? I love them. So those are 3 different kinds of cucumbers this week. We do have a lot of cucumbers, so bear with us, but everything is an ebb and a flow. You get a lot of something, and then before you know it, it's faded away a little bit and something else comes on board. So we have some summer squashes, of course, the round ones you might have seen before. We have some of the zephyr squashes, just a medley. You get different ones each week and just chop them up. I will use them for just about anything, and I have a little cast iron, kind of like a grill type of pan, and I just oiled that and then seasoned my squashes with salt and pepper, and I grilled them until they were charred on both sides, and that was really good, and I added that to the pasta. So really yummy stuff you can do with it. Of course, we've got sweet corn. This is the bicolor corn this week. Definitely a little trick if you are cutting your corn off the cob, and I don't know where I learned this, but it's been a couple of years and it's been helpful tremendously. So after you boil your corn, just a couple minutes, take it out, put in some cold water to stop the cooking. And then you take your corn cob and you get a tube pan, like a tube or a bundt pan, and you put your corn cob in the middle, in the little hole that's in the bundt pan. And then you can very easily cut your corn off the cob. The hole in the middle of the bundt pan is holding your corn cob in place as you're cutting, and then the corn falls into the bundt pan. So logical, so wonderful. Then I just take a measuring cup and scoop it out, and it's really easy. So that's really changed my perspective. So if you have leftover corn at all, which is very rare because it's so good, I eat it all the time, you can just throw it in a baggie after it's cooked and put in the freezer. And corn is probably one of the most delicious things that you can freeze. I feel like it tastes exactly like it is out of the field even after sitting in the freezer for a couple months. So really good and just, you know, an easy thing that you can freeze. We've got our carrots this week and our beets, of course. They're kind of buried at the bottom of the box, but in case you haven't noticed, we do have some really fun colored carrots and, you know, funky roots. So apologize for that, but heavier soil can tend to thwart the roots, and so they're kind of fun. What I like to do on the funny roots is just, you know, break them off, and then I just, you know, roast them whole. I don't even worry about peeling them because they're kind of persnickety. Just give them a good scrub with like a vegetable brush or a sponge, and then you can roast them whole, and they're pretty good like that. You can also make pickled carrots, which is something fun too, and you could use those little funny long, you know, carrots to pickle them, and that would be very good too. So we have Swiss chard, beautiful Swiss chard. That definitely just saute. I had a quiche that I made and then I froze, and it was a potato Swiss chard quiche, and I froze it, and I just took it out and baked what I wanted to warm it up, and that was really good. I had that for the week and that was delicious. Still trying to remember what other meals I did. Seems like there was just so much cooking this week. We did a canning class, and I just put up a lot of stuff and froze some broccoli, threw it in the freezer, so doing a lot of catching up on food preservation this week. We've got our eggplant, cute little eggplant here. One of the things that I love to do is do fried eggplant, just like you would do fried zucchini. You can use eggplant for Parmesan. I put it in the curry. I do peel, the skin can be a little bit bitter, so I do peel the skin off. And these are cute little mini eggplants. And then we've got some beautiful peppers this week. Very excited to be introducing to you purple peppers. Peter Piper picked a peck of purple peppers. A peck of purple peppers Peter Piper picked. Well, you get the idea. So we have these purple peppers, which are the same as their little green pepper cousins. They will eventually ripen to a red, as will the green. We do need some cooler temperature nights for that to happen, so we will get some of the beautiful colored peppers a little bit later in the weeks. But for now, we've got some gorgeous green peppers, and somebody taught me a trick on cutting them, which I use a lot, and that is to cut the top off. So you just cut the top, cut the bottom, then it's like a little jacket. You just unwrap it, and you can cut your slices of your pepper, and then later on you could use the top and the bottom and chop it up. But it's just a much more efficient way of cutting up peppers. So stuffed peppers, you could make a ground beef and rice mixture along with, you know, a little onion and garlic. Stuff it into your peppers, and then I like to use a tomato soup base, and then you could just put those in the crock pot and cook those stuffed peppers. You can also keep the lids when you make that. If you cut this off, keep the lid so you can put it back on top if you'd like, so that it's kind of steaming and cooking as you go. Stuffed pepper soup is another good one, where it's kind of a deconstructed version of that, and that would be really delicious for these as well. Our potatoes, we're almost ready to start digging up our potatoes. We have all different sizes because the potato plant doesn't give you just one uniform size. So you might get little baby sized potatoes, might get medium, might get large. So we'll be posting some videos of our cool potato plowing process. It is amazing. You send the plow through the ground, and it just, all these potatoes unearth, and it's a lot easier. Bless her heart, Caroline, our helper, has been digging these potatoes all by hand the last several weeks for you guys. So we'll be very happy when we can get the tractor in to do some of that hard work. We've got some onions. We set the onions out to dry so they're nice and dry, so you can store these very easily. And that's my job today, is before all this rain that's expected, we're gonna go find the rest of the onions, and I do mean find, because after the tops die back and it got a little weedy over there, we have to go through and find them and pluck them, and then we'll put them out to dry just like we did the other batch. And you'll be enjoying those onions for several weeks. And we have another onion planting, and the onions are about half grown on those as well. So onions, you can, oh, do I even need to say anything? Onions for everything. I find that I go through a lot of onions every week just for everything that I cook. Okay, we've got, oh, I remember one of my other meals. I did the cabbage and onions. I sauteed red cabbage with the onions, and then what did we have with that? Using up things in the freezer, we had pierogies with that, and some Swedish meatballs and some cabbage and cucumber salad. Oh, I also am going to include a recipe for a Thai cucumber salad that we love making, and I made that to serve with the leftovers from the Asian meal. That one's really good as well. So we have red cabbage this week, and then we have a beautiful new cabbage. I didn't know that I've actually grown this variety. I can't remember the variety offhand. It's kind of a big head here. Ugh. Ta-da! It is a Savoy cabbage, which means that it's crinkly. It's got more texture to it. So I am going to attempt to make sauerkraut this week. I got brave because Chad, our volunteer, told me how easy it is, and I really want to do some sauerkraut because we love sauerkraut. My German heritage, you know, you have to have sauerkraut and bratwurst and a good stone ground mustard. So hopefully that will go well. These cabbages will last forever in the fridge. So if you don't get to things, the beets, the carrots, the onions, the potatoes, the cabbage, I think all that stuff will store pretty well. So stick it in a nice, drawer at the bottom of your fridge. Check it from time to time. But that is one beautiful head of cabbage, and for all those who, like me, were children of the 80s, kind of looks like the Cabbage Patch Kids. Very quintessential Cabbage Patch Kid cabbage. So I think that includes our box tour. We have so many beautiful flavors this week. During our canning class, I made some canned diced pickled beets, so I'm very excited about that. We were just on a roll, and I realized how much I need to spend a little bit more time, doing some canning and putting some food up, because these intense months of delicious food don't last forever. And boy, in the middle of winter, we're very, very excited to taste the good flavors that we worked so hard this summer to produce. So if you can, definitely dive in, do a little freezing, do a little canning. You will definitely thank me. So have a great week. We'll include some recipes for cucumbers and other ideas for you this week. Enjoy, and we'll see you again next week. Happy cooking!